welcome to North Square. My name is Maria Lanza, and I proudly serve as Mayor Walsh's neighborhood liaison to the North End. Today is an exciting day for the North End, and for North Square in particular. I'm sure all of you trapezed your way up the cobblestones and realized it was less than ideal. So this reconstruction is really an exciting project for the neighborhood and for the city. I'd first like to introduce Chief Chris Osgood, who is the Chief of Streets for the City of Boston. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Maria, and thank you for all your leadership on this particular project. We have a fantastic way to start today's celebration, and I'm going to turn it over to the Elliott School and the St. John School, who are going to lead us in a pair of songs. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Elliott School, St. John School. You guys have beautiful voices. Great way to start the day. Again, we are here to celebrate the groundbreaking of North Square. Over the last 3 years, this neighborhood has really come together to design a beautiful new street and new park, a street and park that will really celebrate history, that will improve accessibility, that will enhance the public realm. Over the next 12 months, we'll be taking your great design from the drawing board to the street. We will be rebuilding the sidewalks around this square and making sure that they're better for every single Freedom Trail visitor, every single resident who's walking along these blocks. We're going to be investing in some of these great features like the cobblestones and the nautical railing that you see around here to make sure that we're really celebrating and highlighting some of the great features of this park. We're going to be raising Moon Street behind you by the church and improving the general pedestrian accessibility to make sure this entire park and plaza and streets are accessible to everybody around here. We'll be adding streetlights to make sure that this area is more inviting at night and adding some new plantings and some new public art to the entire park. All of this is going to really, again, make sure that we are celebrating history, inviting everybody to this space, and anchoring this neighborhood and this area with a park that is loved by all. This would not be possible. This $2 million investment would not be possible without the emphasis that's been put on this by our mayor. The mayor has made it very clear that he wants to make sure that we're investing in those places that make our neighborhoods great, that bring public art to our streets, and that bring all of us in this city together. So it is my honor to introduce our first speaker of the day, our mayor, Mayor Martin J. Walsh.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to first start by, on behalf of all the elected officials, thank this great choir of a combination of the Elliott School and St. John's. How about a nice round of applause for what they've done? You guys were awesome. Thank you very much. So I love seeing that. I also want to thank the elected officials that are here. This has been a collaboration with all of us working together. I want to start with City Councilor Sal Martina. Thank you, Sal, for your great work. Sal's been working this process from the very beginning. City Councilor Nisha Sabi George, I want to thank you, Councilor, as well. State Representative Aaron Mickowitz, who actually worked as well on the state side of this. Thank you, Aaron, for your continued support here and making sure this happens. And State Senator Joe Boncori, thank you, Joe, as well for your great work here. There's a bunch of people that are going to speak here in a little while. Thank you very much. Nina's going to talk from the Paul Revere Association. Look forward to hearing Nina. Suzanne Taylor from the Freedom Trail Association, thank you. Captain James Sortino, thank you. Sacred Heart Church and St. John's School and the Elliott, thank you very much. And we're excited about what we're doing here today. I was having a conversation actually last weekend with Lorraine Pascantelli, and we were talking about who grew up in this neighborhood, and her dad actually was a city councilor here, and she was talking about the changes of the neighborhood in the North End. But she was talking about how, regardless of how much the North End changes sometimes, it does remain the same. And today is one of those days, and this project is one of those projects of change but remaining the same. Because we honor our cultural traditions while creating a better Boston for the next generation, these young people here. The North End is one of the most remarkable and historic communities in America. Today I don't want to say we begin, my notes say we begin a new chapter. I don't think we bring in a new chapter. But since this process started back in 2014, the top priority for everybody has been safety, making sure that our residents and visitors can come and relax, make sure we have amenities so young people can play and kids can play, make sure we have a greener space, a cooler space, and that's certainly something that's important for our city. This $2.5 million renovation is going to do that. You can see it up there on the board. It's going to create a more enjoyable space for people of all ages and all abilities. It's going to support our local businesses and create even more opportunities for investments for our restaurants and for our stores. And when tourists come to our city, they're going to stop and really take a look here and see exactly how the country really started, right? It could have started right here in this particular neighborhood. The North End is also special because so many people call it home. This community has always been engaged and active and passionate about making this neighborhood thrive. I want to thank everyone who helped lend their voice to this project to make sure that this project's successful and that everyone has a voice. So I want to thank you. I want to thank the community that's here. Not everyone here works for the city or the state or a contractor. There's a lot of residents here too. So thank you to the residents for what you do in this great city, in this great neighborhood. Our public spaces can't be just functional. They have to be a place of who we are and identify who we are. That's important why we're talking about citywide, making public art a key component in public works projects like this one. So this is something that we're doing throughout the entire city. I want to thank Ann Hirsch and Jeremy Angier. These are the artists who helped honor us with the history and the future of the North End through the sculpture, so thank you for your great work. This project shows us how effective we are when we work together. This is truly a partnership between all of us. So I want to thank everybody who had anything to do with this project today and this entire project we've been doing since 2014. Thank you for your support. And again, to the elected officials, thank them for their consistent support here in the neighborhood. And I know that there's some businesses listening. I know that at times there's some concerns about traffic and construction, but unfortunately, just bear with us because when it's all done, you're going to be like, this is unbelievable. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor, and again, thank you for your leadership on this. As the Mayor said, the design for this park is great because it involves so many of you and your voices in really creating something which is going to be special. We're so thankful for every neighborhood resident who came out, who voiced an opinion, who shared a thought about how to make this space great, and all of the partners who really lent their time and their expertise to that. So it is my pleasure to be able to introduce one of those key partners, somebody who leads one of the nation's great historical sites, the Paul Revere House, and that's Nina Zenieri.
Thank you all, Mayor, my friends, elected officials, colleagues, and residents of the community, and the great schools we have here. For those of us who are abutters or members of the community, we've always known that this was a special place. North Square has endured through nearly 400 years of change and growth. This square has borne silent witness to the devastating fire of 1676, everyday inhabitants using the town pump and the food market that were here, and then a market for wood during the 18th century. Protests around the Stamp Act in 1765. Paul Revere left from his house down the street in 1775 for his now famous ride. Irish and Italian immigrant men waited here to be selected for day jobs in the mid and late 19th century. An outdoor mass was celebrated here by Cardinal Cushing in 1963. School children, our friends from St. John's, come here for recess every day. Families leaving Sacred Heart after a funeral or joyously after a wedding. And millions of tourists and group tours have used this square every year. Unlike Rachel Revere Square, which through most of its history was housing lots and then a large hotel, this has always been an open space. It was a working square, a convening place, a place of political activism, a place of commemoration, and a beloved piece of the North End's rich and important history. We can all agree that it's become a bit forlorn, and anyone who's watched anyone cross the street knows that access is really important. We recently completed our own access project to make the Paul Revere House fully accessible, as well as our inner courtyard. So we're really looking forward to the extension of that access to this square and to the sidewalks along the Freedom Trail. Thanks so much to our wonderful mayor for appreciating the importance of upgrading this particular space and for making it a priority. Thanks to Joe Fleury, who's been so responsive to the abutters about our, of course, natural concerns about construction, phasing, and also impact on the historic buildings around the square. I also want to shout out to the Beta Group, to Karen Goodfellow and the Arts Commissioner, who worked so carefully with all the voices in the community to craft a design that retains what North Enders have long loved about the square, with new elements that will make the area more accessible, and for helping us find a public art team, A&J Design, who we hope will encourage all users to consider the square and the North End community's rich history. We're looking forward to a fully rejuvenated and accessible North Square that will ensure that it will continue to be a critical part of the history and fabric of the North End. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Nina. As Nina pointed out, this has been a terrific collaboration between the neighborhood and the city, and we've had a great city team working on this. As Nina mentioned, and I want to call out Joe Fleury, Joe, who I can, there we go. Joe Fleury, who's been our lead engineer on this project from the very beginning, has done a terrific job working on this. We've been very fortunate to have the great support of Maria Lanza, of Karen Goodfellow on the public art component with the Art Commission, support of the Boston Transportation Department and Commissioner Gina Fiandaca. We're lucky to have been able to partner with the Beta Group on the design, and over the next 12 months, Saccone will be hard at work on the construction right here in North Square. I want to introduce, though, as our final speaker, somebody who's been a close collaborator on this project and on a lot of our public square redevelopment projects across the city, Hyde Square, Audubon Circle, to name a few. And that is the city's first Chief of Arts and Culture. When the mayor first became mayor, he created a position, a cabinet level position of Chief of Arts and Culture to really elevate the role that arts play in the city and in all the projects that we do. Our first Chief of Arts and Culture is Julie Burrows, and it's my pleasure to welcome her.
Thank you so much, Chief Osgood. Boston is a city of people who strongly believe in the transformative power of the arts. And thanks to Mayor Walsh's leadership and vision that Boston cannot be an innovative city unless we embrace the arts and incorporate the arts into everything we do, we work together with the people of Boston to articulate those goals in a plan called Boston Creates. And one of the goals of that plan is to incorporate the arts into everything we do and to make it a part of civic life in every neighborhood. This project is an incredible example of that plan come to life, coming to fruition. We found ready collaborators, eager collaborators in the Department of Public Works. That makes me the envy of my colleagues across the country. How did you get Public Works to work with you? They raised their hand and stepped up and said, we absolutely need to have the arts be part of this project. And this isn't the first one. There are going to be many, many more Public Works projects that incorporate permanent public art. So I want to thank everyone who made that possible. I want to thank the members of the Boston Art Commission who are here, members of the community who served on the Artist Selection Committee. I want to thank our artists who have agreed to work very collaboratively with the community to make sure that the artwork reflects the aspirations and the vision of this community and really incorporates the history. They've been doing a ton of research and have some fabulous concepts. It's Ann Hirsch and Jeremy Anger of A&J Design, and I also want to note that Ann Hirsch was also an artist in residence, one of our Boston Air artists who's been in residence with BCYF, so she really understands how to incorporate arts into a community. I also want to just note that this is the kind of collaboration that makes us a city who can turn plans into projects, into reality. And so again, thank you for everyone for being involved in this collaborative project, and we look forward to many more in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julie. And again, thank you to everybody who played a role in getting the project to this point, and the work that's ahead of us over this next month. Thank you again to the students of the Elliott School and to the St. John School. And with that, we'll head to the groundbreaking.
On 3, 1, 2, and